Hello, if you don't know me, I don't blame you. A lot of people don't. But I'm the Bunny Show and I make Dead by Daylight content. Today I'm going to be talking about how the FNAF chapter is going to be changing Dead by Daylight as we know it. So last year, Dead by Daylight announced their FNAF collab to come out of summer of 2025, or at the very least give us more information for summer of 2025. Now, this has, been a really heavily awaited chapter, a heavily awaited collab. Everybody loves FNAF. Okay, that's, a little bit of an extreme, not everybody, but FNAF is a heavily loved community, and having that collab in Dead by Daylight is going to bring in a lot of new players, a lot of old players, and obviously keep the current players playing because it's such a big deal. Now, this is going to mean a huge market for Dead by Daylight. People who've never played before are probably going to see this chapter and want to play, and Dead by Daylight's not the cheapest game. That's another conversation for another time, though. This also means that there's going to be huge stats. Now, I wonder if these stats are going to be big enough to create, bugs and glitches or lagging or just server crashes in general. I don't quite know how big this is going to be, but I do think that we are going to see a big rise of players coming in summer of 2025 when this chapter is released. Now, what this means is new players coming to Dead by Daylight. That's going to be kind of difficult for two reasons. One, Dead by Daylight needs to adapt their game to newer players and kind of welcome them in, because Dead by Daylight can be kind of tricky as far as, UI goes and mechanics and things like that. Obviously, it's a very simple game because you do 5 gens or you kill people, but learning each individual killer and learning the blood web and navigating through all of the perks they have in this game can be really hard coming from a new player. So Dead by Daylight has to make it easier for them. Now, the second reason that this could be, difficult is because existing players are going to see a fresh new wave of new players who've never touched this game before, and that can be kind of frustrating. Over the years, Dead by Daylight has definitely evolved. Old players stop playing, new players come in, and, just rotation, new chapters, everything like that. But I think the FNAF chapter is definitely going to be one of the biggest changes we have to the game. So, as of recently, Dead by Daylight has announced their quality of life initiative, and this pretty much means that they're going to finally be addressing all the things that their players have been telling them for years. Now, do I think that this could have come sooner? Yes. Do I mind? Not really. To be honest, I'm kind of a newer player. I started playing in the second RPD, in the second RE chapter when Wesker came out. However, some people have been pointing out that the reason that they're finally addressing their quality of life is because they're going to get this new influx of players from the FNAF chapter. I think Dead by Daylight, they definitely are banking on the fact that the FNAF chapter is going to bring in loads of money for them, and that means that they have to actually fix their game to make it playable, or else they're not going to be able to keep this momentum going, and Dead by Daylight desperately needs this. So as of recently, Dead by Daylight has been boring, and I don't think this is even a recently thing, but even if you add a new killer, you play against them a couple times or you play with them a couple times and you're like, okay, that was cool, but the fundamental gameplay of survivors is just too boring. You do gens, you loop killer, it's just very repetitive and boring, and that's why Dead by Daylight needs a save. Now, do I think the FNAF chapter is going to save Dead by Daylight? No, I don't. I think it's going to give it a little bit of extra time, but they need to change their game in some way or another. Now, I was talking to a friend about this, and he pretty much said that maybe making new escapes for survivors would be able to save the game, like how in Friday the 13th you could repair the car, or you could call the police and wait for them. Those kinds of things. Obviously, Dead by Daylight couldn't have that happen because of the entity, and you need to have it work with the canon of the entity. But having more ways to escape could ultimately change the game. Now, I don't think that they should make this I want to say base game or whatever, I think that they need to make a new game mode. So how TCM did Rush Week, I think Dead by Daylight needs to do something similar to that, because 2v8 just isn't cutting it, unfortunately. It gets so boring, to the fact that they literally had to put bots in their game for survivors just to make killer queue times a little bit better. Playing Survivor gets so boring, and I don't think the FNAF chapter is going to be any different, because yes, you play against, you know, the new Dead by Daylight killer, whoever it's going to be, probably, I forgot his name, William Afton, Mr. Stumacher from Scream. We're probably going to get him. Springtrap, that's his name. But then after you play against him for like maybe a week or two, then you're going to be like, okay, well, this was cool, I guess. Now what do I do? Exactly. So current players are going to continue to lose interest over time, so they need to keep in these newer players, but after a while it still gets boring. So the FNAF chapter is not going to save Dead by Daylight's life, it's just going to give it more time. So what they decide to do at this time is going to be completely up to them, but they have the chance to save their game and make it something amazing. Do I think they're going to do it? I guess we'll have to see. But I do really trust Behavior, because they really love Dead by Daylight. I can tell when they talk about things. So I do trust them with this, and I think that they have the chance to make this game live out another 10 years like they want to. But only time will tell. We'll have to see what happens with the FNAF chapter, and I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of frustrated people with the influx of how many players are going to be joining, and with the quality of life initiatives. There's some things in there that I'm not happy about that they're changing, but can't make everyone happy, so we'll just have to see. Anyways, subscribe for more Dead by Daylight content. I try to post as much as possible, but I also just do horror content in general, so let me know what else you want to see. I am going to be starting my killer journey, because I'm typically a survivor main, but I think I'm going to start trying to play killer more, so I'm going to make videos about that, and I will see you guys in another video. I love you.